Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are doing a video on a super cool project. It's the install of this beautiful barnwood ceiling. Now this is legit barnwood. In a previous video I did some preparation on like planing and ripping it down. This video we're going to be showing the install and even the finish, because the finish just came out beautiful. So it'll be kind of a combination between time lapse and instructions to kind of just help you get more comfortable and see how I took the approach and did the full install, so maybe it can kind of help you out. So we're going to kind of just dive right on into and show you how we did the install of this super cool barnwood ceiling. And if you guys like these videos, hit that like button and subscribe if you want to follow along, and we're going to dive right on into it. Okay, so now I went ahead and got some paper ran. I'm not going to do the full width. I'm going to do it kind of as I go. Partially why is I did this part is I got to drill some can lights in. So I'm going to start running my rows, drill my holes for my can lights, and then finish and then put more paper up. So what I got is, got to figure out my pattern. So I went ahead and measured the width of my ceiling, which the center part's like 56 inches. Now what I got is a combination between 1x8s and 1x6s. So what I'm going to do, and I already did it, is calculate how that comes out to a good number of, because I want to alternate my boards, make it look, when I do a row, I got to follow the one size all the way through. So what I'm going to do is use 5 1x8s and 4 1x6s. And what I'm going to do is start in the center of the ceiling and then work sideways out. So since I know I got an odd number of 1x8s, I'm going to start with 1 1x8 in the dead center of the ceiling. And the way I'm going to do that is measure the center point and minus half the board to the right or the left, and then I'm going to go ahead and run a chalk line, and that'll give me my starting point. Okay, so now I got this chalk line up here now. Now I'm ready to simply start installing. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pick a board and get my measurement to where I want to start. So I'm going to start with like a 67 incher. So I'm going to go ahead, get a board, go ahead and cut it, and start installing. Okay, so I am not doing any any fancy cuts, lapse like a 45 or nothing. I am just going to do a simple butt cut where they seam together, because these are not all going to be exactly the same thickness perfectly, and hopefully they're close, but I think it'd just be better for this type of look just to go with butt cut. So what I did is I went ahead and sanded and stained, and I'm going to be doing those on my cuts as I go. So if there's any like variance you see with the next adjoining board, or if it gaps at all, it'll be all dark. So I'm going to be using a combination between these tiny little trim screws. You can see those. Oh, the focus. Anyways, these tiny little black trim screws, which if I need them for like really stubborn boards, because some of them are definitely got a twist in them, might have to put like a toe screw through like on the side. But I'm going to be using a combination between mostly 18 gauge brad nailers, which I got my cordless here, and then some 15 gauge finish nailers, because some of these boards are just thick and they're going to need some large nails. So that's how I'm going to be installing it. So I'm going to simply start with my first one here and line it up to my chalk line, and making sure I land my seams on my trusses or my backing, which yours might be studs. And I'm just going to start going to town. Okay, so now I got this first row ran, finished off, nailed. I'm going to be alternating with the 1x6, and then I'll do that so on. But I'm just going to simply try to offset my pattern with like my seams, trying not to make them land the same spot. And I'm going to actually be doing like a small gap. You can use whatever you want. I'm just going to use this rack of nails and hold it up as a shim. And the reason I'm going to gap it just a little bit is probably these boards are probably not perfect. Just a little bit of room for expansion, contraction. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then something else I'm also doing, some of these boards are a little thicker than others. So I am like ripping some cardboard shims and adjusting up and down right at my nail points. Some people are fine with the offset, but I'm trying to get a little bit closer if I can. So I'm going to go ahead and simply run this row and just keep on going. So I went ahead and got these boards. Now before I run my next row of paper and wood, I'm going to go ahead and drill all my holes, marked them out exactly center. I'm going to use my 6-inch hole saw for my can lights and simply go ahead and drill them all. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So I was talking about these cardboard shims right here. They come in strips for, I mean, they're for, usually drywallers use them, but I just rip them out in small pieces, come along strips. To elevate, like this board was tighter to the ceiling than this one. It either could be the angle or the thickness of the board. So what I've been doing is holding it up before I nail it and kind of checking for up and down and using these and just putting them up ahead of time, like on each truss. So that's kind of what I've been doing with these. Just want to show you. So like if this board's thinner than this one, I'll do this one before I do this. Just kind of check it out. It just makes the end result come out a little bit better. I know we're going for a rustic look, but I'm still trying to get it as close as I can. Okay, see if I can kind of show you. So I got it all shimmed up and down, pretty close, end for end. And I actually have been doing some construction adhesive on the butt joints up in here, and then shoving the board to it and then wiping off the excess. But anyways, what I was going to show you is address another issue. So see how tight that is? You see how tight that is? Just barely a gap, but if you look right here, the gap is much larger. So I want to try to close that. It could be because this line's off, it could be because this board's bowed, I don't know. But either way, I'm going to try to make that better as much as possible. So what I've been doing is taking a scrap block, screwing it up like, I got this support right here, screwing it up here, and then getting my pry bar. Let's see if I can show you. And see that? So and then I can pry it over. That's way better. So you can do that and then nail it, and then that kind of helps you fix your gaps. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this board and keep on rolling. So now that we got all these boards done, now I need to come up over here and tie in this part of the room to it. So we're gonna go ahead and plank it the same way, paper it. The only difference, I got an access right here. I'm gonna do a picture frame with the drop access. So we'll just see how it comes out, but I'm gonna go ahead and start planking this the same way, follow suit. Come back and just show you how it comes out. Okay, so I got this planking done now, so I got to do this access cover. Sorry for the light, it's kind of messing up my focus. What I did is I measured the width and the inside diameter, both sideways and lengthways, and I'm going to shrink it by 1 inch, so I have a 1/2 inch overhang on all sides. So I actually went ahead and cut them. What I'm going to do is picture frame it like this. So I got them all cut. Now I simply got to go ahead and I'm going to glue up the corners and then put a couple brads in each corner and then go ahead and install it. Okay, so this came out really nice. Went ahead and got it up. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I cut this piece of just OSB, 1/2 inch, a little undersized of the hole. Going to go ahead and put it up there, and then go ahead and orient my lines, mark it like a reference line from plank to plank on this board, and then pull it down and put planking on and put it up and be done. Okay, so we went ahead, this is my access, got it all lined up like with the planking. Came out really nice, tried to match the colors, get it all aligned. Look, it came out good. So now I am done with this whole install. And what I'm going to do, what I have yet to do to finish it is, with all these like nail holes, I'm gonna go ahead and take some stain and just wipe it in there or brush it in there, any nicks. Go ahead and do that, and then we are ready for our final finish, which will be our poly. Okay, so now we're actually doing the finish part on the wood ceiling. We went ahead and got the stain on, and I used an oil-based stain. So what I did do is take one coat by hand, an oil-based polyurethane, just to kind of fully seal it, and the oil gives a little more color. So I went ahead and sealed it, because if I just put a water-based poly on, it might not adhere fully if it was freshly done. So I went ahead and did that, and then I waited a few days for that to cure. Went ahead and I'm sanding between coats. Now I'm going to be applying just a simple waterborne poly, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to be using my Gray Coat airless sprayer. This is meant more for painting, but this is what I got. I'm going to use this. It's going to put out more volume, and this is a large area. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I got it all masked, and I'm ready to go ahead and just start spraying this all on. Okay, so I am not going to dilute this poly, water-based poly. I'm just going to spray it straight on. I'm going to keep my volume up a little higher because I started putting it on a little lower, and it put on so heavy that I had to really watch for runs. So I'm going to keep the pressure up. I'm going to stay about 12 to 15 inches back and overlap about 50%. and just go back and forth sideways. I don't want to go ahead and show you how I'm going to actually spray because I don't want it all over the camera. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now, and then I'll show you when it's all done and show you how the final outcome is. Okay guys, so it is all dry and all done now. Just kind of showing you how it came out. Beautiful, nice, even matte finish. That sprayer just did a really nice job. It just, the matte's not too shiny, but it gives you just a little bit of sheen. And it came out great. So this is 1 coat of oil-based poly on top of a 50-50 mix of early American and dark walnut, and then 2 coats of waterborne polyurethane. So it came out just great.